Hi everyone. Let's try that again. Hi everyone. Welcome back to Realm of Marigold. I'm Philip, and today we'll be making a sort of different video from what you might be used to, as today we'll be diving into the making of the Winx Club, the Arcanix Act remastered series, where I'll be showing you guys of how the process went and maybe some material that you might have not seen before. I'm excited because it's the first time my face is on camera and I feel like I'm a bit exposed, but it's all for the purpose of entertainment and also to show you guys all the wonders and not so wonderful things that happened while working on the project. And this will be sort of a freestyle video as I do not have a script to go with it. I'll be just covering a few stuff of the process with a few topics I have in mind of how it went. And I hope you guys find this interesting and that we can make the best of it while we wait for the final act to be released. In regards to that, the final act is still under development, and there are a few surprises that I really wanted to include in the video that will make it feel a bit more complete. And with that in mind, I'm sure you realized by now that it will be taking a bit more time than I originally expected, as most of these videos have been taking, since I always end up wanting to add newer stuff, and this time around I'm making 2 episodes, which if you haven't realized by the last videos, just one episode in itself is half an hour, and this one is almost reaching 1 hour of content for you to enjoy. And yeah, that is a bit time consuming, and yeah, I should really take more time to figure that out before posting it. But nonetheless, it's almost done. And while at it, let's just have some fun and see how the journey came to be. With that in mind, I hope you guys enjoy the video, and once again, play the intro. So the year is 2012, I believe, when I first saw Stella's Arcanix Act transformation. I confess that at the time I was a bit confused of what was happening, because I remember seeing a storyboard that Alex made and she posted it online. Then after that, it came the transformation and an episode. And just after seeing the episode, it was when I realized, oh wait, this is actually a fanfic. And I was kind of intrigued by it. I watched the first episode and I was really intrigued. I was like, what is that? What is this person trying to do? And so I subscribed to the channel and I just waited for, more updates. And so it went on. So the second act came around and then the story started to feel like it was going somewhere, and I was once again getting even more intrigued, and the rest is history. Alex continued to post the remaining acts and I kept following the story as I really wanted to know who the hell was that queen and who was trying to perpetrate all the misfortune that was happening to the Winx at the time. And also, mind you, this was a breath of fresh air because at the time we had the specials announced, if my memory serves me right. And other than that, we hadn't received much content from the Winx. We had those All Winx episodes that were announced that never seen the light of day. And then the trailer of the specials came out. And, by that point I was like, yeah, that's exciting and all, but it's not exactly anything new. And then there was a period of time where season 5 was announced, and, I was excited for it, but I soon realized that the direction the show was taking was completely different from what we knew Winx Club for. So I turned a bit more to the Arcanix Act, and I kinda developed an obsession for it, in the sense that it was a breath of fresh air for the characters, because you have the Winx that is this colorful show, playful environments, and a light tone in the series, even though they dealt with a lot of mature themes at the time. But then it was all going backwards and it was drifting away from its original source, and that was kind of making me lose interest. I was kind of betting on this story to make me feel more fulfilled. And then tragedy struck, and Alex's videos were banned from YouTube by Rainbow. And at the time, I remember feeling a bit, angry because you have a fan that is so dedicated to the content you make. They wanna see your characters evolve beyond of what you know, regardless of copyright laws, and I do understand that sometimes there are limits for what we can do as fans. I do believe that this course of action was a bit extreme for what it was, but once again was the direction that the company decided to go with, and I guess we just had to accept that. And the same happened to Alex. At first she was upset, obviously, because she had her content taken away, and it was really sad to watch someone lose their spark like that, someone that had such a great plan for the story that she was building. And I was upset to see that her artwork went just down the drain like that. I felt that she was really demotivated. She obviously posted about it, and I empathize with it a bit more than I should have, because I have that tendency to see situations that I deem to be unfair, and just empathize with that pain so deeply that it sort of becomes my problem as well. We're working on that. So yeah, then it came to mind the idea of actually try to remake the series after a while. Since Rainbow was starting to slow down on the copyright strikes, I thought it would be a good time to start and maybe try to revive the series in a way. Mind you, Alex had announced our cafe at the time, and I was like, yeah, finally, something new about Arcanix, and I'm excited for it. But I was also sad for the fact that I was not going to be able to see the Winx anymore. And also the story had left a lot of plot holes to resolve that I addressed before in the remastered series, which I will be now calling the visual novel, because that's pretty much what it is at this point. It's not an animated series anyways. So yeah, I once again tried to contact Alex and asked her if I could reanimate the series and try to give it a bit of an updated animation and maybe try to fix those issues that were not addressed in the past. And Alex was completely fine with it. I do believe she was, because she was nice about it and said that I was free to do whatever I wanted with. In regards to the Winx Club characters, although she advised me to try to pursue something that would be of my own creation, which I believe she said that because she might not have wanted to see another person go through the same issue that she did in the end. But yeah, something inside me really felt like someone needed to take a stand for artists that struggle to make original content, besides being based in intellectual property, still be able to have its place within a fandom. Not saying that you have to profit over it or gain something out of it, but in a way, you're trying to make your mark. And Alex was trying to do hers, and it was really upsetting to see getting that taken away from her. So yeah, that's how I started the project. At first, I had a lot to work with, even though I haven't realized it until I actually got a hold of everything that has been built so far about the Arcanix Act. I noticed that I had a lot to work with, and the first thing I needed to do was find the origins of every character, or at least try to come up with something to fill those plot holes and be able to make the story feel a bit more complete. My first thoughts were, how did Cassandra ended up in that dimension? Where did the animals came from? What are Vera's origins? And I tried to gather every single fact and every bit of information I had about every character so I could make a solid origin story for them. So yeah, I started scripting, I started imagining most of them. I made Bloom's Arcanix transformation in a more updated animation style, so I could have a better idea of how it would look on screen. And so far I was pleased with what I was seeing, but it was still far from what I was trying to reach, which it was a really high expectation that I had for myself. I made the first episode really quickly, actually. I remember maybe I took like 4 to 5 days to finish the script. It so went on with the remaining ones. I made, I believe, from the first episode until the sixth episode, those were the ones that were easiest to write because they already had their narratives constructed, and I just needed to have the little bits of filler that would make the story feel more complete. Then it came to an impasse where I was like, yeah, I have done enough writing, let's just try to make a bit of design just to keep everything consistent. And that's when I drew the first sketches that you now see present in the final version of the game that I released recently. Although those were the classic looks that Alex had drawn for them, I started to become a bit more scared that it felt like I was taking something that already existed and just, remaking it all over again, and that wasn't really the vibes I was going for. So I started to think on how would the Arcanix transformation look like in my eyes. So I started sketching, and nothing was really doing it for me because I wasn't really sure of what my aesthetics were at the time, and I was still developing them with other projects that I previously mentioned that I worked on, and they evolved a lot. And once I found my identity, my style identity, I realized that I like everything that looks stunning, pretty, classy, fashionable, and always have since I was a kid. So I try to take all the elements from previous transformations that I enjoyed from the Winx. For example, harmonics, the tails that they have, the hairdresses, the pieces that they have, the crowns, and also from Tinix, like for example the base that they have of the dresses, those are heavily inspired by Tinix. But I still wanted the design to feel like Arcanix, but just not as a straight up copy from Alex's work. So yeah, that's how the redesigns I made came to be, and I was excited to see how it would all turn out then. Their pajamas, I confess, it was the hardest thing to do because I wanted the clothes to be a bit similar to the original ones, since this is a type of attire that the girls use while they're lost and they don't know where they are and are still trying to figure out everything that is happening. And I didn't want them to look like they were full glammed up, but I still wanted them to look, fairly pretty for what they were. Not saying that they weren't, the original designs are fine, because Alex's work is beautiful. I just wanted to give it my touch to it. I ended up with the final designs that you see right now. As for the Arcanix animals, I didn't want to drift too far from what they were as well, since they were Alex's original characters. And I wanted them to be the most consistent out of everything I had made so far. I took a bit of inspiration from the original fairy animals from season 7, also from other animals like pixie pets, even the pixies themselves. I tried to mix a bit of everything into this design to try to find the identity of the characters within the Winx universe. They remind me a bit more of Looney Tunes, and I do believe that Alex actually referenced this once. I tried to make them as coherent as possible, though Luna the pigeon was the one that I tried to make a bit more different to highlight the fact that she's not an Arcanix animal. So that's why she might look a bit different from the remaining ones. And so it went on. I animated the first few bits of the episode, and I was starting to get pleased of how it was turning out, but I ran into an issue that most of us that work with big projects alone can relate to. The fact that I was doing it all alone. Mind you, I have no previous experience with drawing, at least in a professional realm. Everything that I know in regards to art and animation and game design, all that you see me producing, it was mostly self-taught stuff, so I had no basis to guide me through. And one of my biggest insecurities, and still is nowadays, is background drawing. I cannot stress enough how hard it is for me to draw things from perspective. Like, I can do perspective drawings, but I did not and still do not really understand well how you can make a landscape feel fitting for the translation in the animation art style that you're trying to make. For a long time that demotivated me, and I really believed that that was it for the project, and I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna put all of this in my driver folder and never look at it again, because despite not being a project of my own origins, it's not something original, people might not want to see it, and I could not handle at the time bear the thought of people thinking that I was taking appropriation of something that didn't belong to me. That started to build a lot of insecurities, and that's what took me to cancel the project. I remember reaching out to a lot of people at the time, not a lot, but a fair amount, to see if anyone was willing to help me out. I remember specifically asking help to people who worked with 3D to try to make the environments, because I believe that having a 3D environment that I could render and then just insert it on the scene, it would be easier than actually drawing background by background. But as in most cases turns out, we all have our issues going on, we all have our projects that we want to make, and sometimes when you really want to help, because I do believe that most of the people that I reached out to, they genuinely wanted to help me, they ended up giving up on the process because it was a bit too much to handle. Maybe, I'm not sure about it, but that's how I try to see this situation in particular. And this was also taking time during the pandemic, so you can see how this was all affecting me mentally, as it might have also affected you, in the general sense that we were all isolated, and it felt like it was the end of the world. It was a really harsh time for me psychologically. Mind you, this was also the time where I was starting to find my identity, personally, because I felt like growing up as a queer kid, in case you haven't realized, you have a queer person in front of you. It was really hard, because I always felt like I had this role to play to keep the people around me comfortable with what they saw of me exteriorly, and that sort of restricted me in having an open mind to try to find what was my actual identity. And so the journey went on, and I remember stopping for a while the Arcanix Act project, and I thought I was never going to see or hear from it again. Once I finally found out what was fulfilling to me and what I really wanted to do with my life, which is bringing animation to life and still find different ways to self-express, which isn't always through animation or drawing. I actually like to edit videos and dancing and singing, even though it isn't my talent or virtue that I have, but I still like to write songs, listen to music. It ignites something inside me that really gives me the hope that I can actually do something that will inspire others to also be themselves. So that's when I started to gain the confidence to actually do something with the projects I had stored in my driver folder. I remember just waking one day and I was like, screw it, I'm just gonna take this and make the best of it. Even if I cannot animate, because right now I don't have the energy to do it, I still have a lot of content that is worth sharing, and also might be able to revive Arcanix, and the Winx community can come back to it and rewatch it being retold in a way that feels fresh. So that's how I began this journey, and the first video came to be. As for each arc, most of them were based on personal experiences and emotions that would come up when I was either happy or sad or depressed, and I always tried to make the best of it. For one example, I tried to put myself in each of the Winx's shoes to explore their vulnerabilities and try to understand where each fear was coming from. Stella was afraid of Cassandra because it was a person that almost took everything from her, and in the last minute she was able to save her father, but it was never explored how that would have affected her mental state, to her self-worth and self-image and family values. For Bloom, it was the issue that most of us have with her character nowadays, that she's a Mary Sue, that she's the center of attention and everything revolves around her, and that she can do no wrong. And I do believe that her character is a bit more than that, even though it's not always well executed in the original series. As for Musa, she already had the plotline about her mother, and yes, it's a consistent thing with her, but I do believe that it wasn't handled very well in the 5th season, so I tried to address that again to make it feel a bit more coherent and have her actually overcoming that grief. As for Flora, we have her issued of being the punching bag of the group. She is always being knocked around and making fun of because she's the weak one, you know, that sort of storyline. And I tried to explore how that would feel personally for her. For Aisha was the grief of losing someone she deeply loved. She lost the love of her life. That is something that leaves a mark. I lost my grandpa during the pandemic at that time, and I remembered that I was taking care of him before he passed. Yeah, I sort of took that grief and those feelings of loss and tried to implement that on how Aisha felt and how she tried to move on from it. Then we had Tekna, that she has this overly explored plotline of being over analytical and not giving in to her emotions, and I wanted to explore that a bit more, having her connect with her animal, which is also extension of who she is, and having this sweet moment where she promises him that she will be showing him the wonderful places she knows of in magics, to make it feel a bit more impactful and also honest. As for Roxy, her character was a last minute insert. I didn't intend at all to have her included in the story. What made me include her in the first place? What did make me include her? I should have kept record of everything because I'm trying to go based off memory, and you know, my attention span and memory is not the best, so I'm trying, people. I'm trying. I wanted the story to feel a bit more complete, and an issue that wasn't sitting well with me, it was the fact that it all felt too much contained in this dimension, and it wasn't really addressing how the girl's absence was impacting the world outside of that one. And that reminded me that Alex was actually planning on including Roxy in the series, and because her series were removed from YouTube, she never ended up doing anything with her. And I also wanted to bring that back and acknowledge her existence in the series. As for the specialists in Miss Faragonda, there were additions to add that sense of gravity, even though I do not intend for them to really exist beyond that, since the series is coming to a close and I really want to move on to other projects soon enough. And also because I agreed with Alex that this would be the end of it, because again, Arcanix is her project, not mine. They will still play their roles in the end. As for Dark Stella, this is a bit of an hard one for me to talk about, because I had to figure out what it was like to be on her feet, and I ended up discovering that I really identified with the arc that she goes through, where, you know, everything that is happening is pretty much centered around her and her past, and you think you know who you are just to have your identity shattered by someone who believes that they can exploit it for their own benefit, and then you end up being lost, not remembering who you are, and you're in a dark time where you're confused, not knowing what will happen to you or to your circumstances, just to find someone that feels like they're trying to help you out, and then all of a sudden, when you finally realize you're being taken down a path that is self-destructive and makes you push away everyone that you're pushing everyone and everything away from you because of that sad confusion, and you really want to believe that that's who you are, and you do not realize how self-destruction I can speak, oh my god, and you do not realize how that is self-destructing you, and you're constantly hearing those voices that really care for you, trying to call you out and say this is not who you are, and just overall not doing what is best for you and everyone else. And yeah, you get the picture. I cannot go any deeper than this, but yeah, as you do realize, this was really something that I had to really deeply exploit to try to make the best out of it and also try to go out of this dark place myself. Yeah, people, vulnerability isn't a weakness. Don't be afraid to showcase your emotions. But yeah, this is not where we're trying to get at. I'll try to move on from this. We also had Cassandra in Chimera's Act, where I tried to explore that toxic parent-child relationship, where your guardian is trying to do the best they can to provide the best they have to offer, and even though it isn't the healthiest thing they have to provide. I don't know how that I thought that this would be a good idea. I'm joking though. Namaste. And how that ends up destroying the love that the child has for their caretaker. As for Vera's character, it was actually all taken from the perspective of how neglect and being abominated by others can shape you into a demon. Even if the place you come from isn't from the purest of origins, it doesn't have to necessarily mean that you're a bad person. Even though she is a complex character and she doesn't have the best interest at heart sometimes, she's still human in a way. And I tried to go as deeply as I could with that. But yeah, that sums it up for the character development. As you might have realized by now, it was a really intense journey that I went through while working on this project, and that's why I cannot stress enough how well it did to my mental health to be able to exploit the characters and understand a bit better how it feels to be on their shoes, while also working through my personal issues. It made me connect more with myself and also with my craft, and I'm really proud of everything I was able to accomplish so far. Even though it still feels a bit distant from what I was trying to reach, I'm still happy that I was able to accomplish so much and that I still have so much to look forward to, not just with Arcanix, but even though I won't be continuing this series, I'm still happy that I was able to reach so many people and that so many of you enjoyed everything I did so far and still keep on supporting me, because even though I wasn't always in the best place to work on this project, that being for the job that I was in at the time that wasn't doing very well to my mental health, or even my depressive episodes that would sometimes be really aggressive, I still managed to find the light in those dark times and find the hope that everything that I'm doing and still continue to do will reach the right people at the right time. And I guess I couldn't be more proud of being able to have that mentality at this present moment. So yeah, just to make things clear, I'll still be making the remaining Winx's Arcanix transformations, but after I release the final episodes. But before I do so, I still need to take some time for myself, because as you might have realized, working on this series non-stop has consumed a lot of time. Even though I was still able to balance everything with my personal life, everything was leading me to a path of burnout, and I really want to avoid that. And because of it, I will be slowing a bit down in the amount of videos I post and how frequently I post, because mental health is important. Yeah, there's still a lot I can do with Arcanix besides continuing the story. I still have the game. A lot of you have played it, but I still believe that some might have not felt encouraged to play because there's no tutorials or anything that would help you really understand the nature of the game itself and how it would play out. Because if I'm gonna be honest, I'm also the type of person that would rather watch someone play the game than actually play the games myself. So one of the ideas I actually had was making a video series of me playing through the game. Surprisingly, there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember in terms of gameplay. So I guess it would be a fun experience for us to go through. I actually made a video for my best friend's TikTok account where she was playing through the game.
Fala, não se importa com ouro. Tudo bem? É, mano.
and we had a blast doing it. It was actually really fun. The video is in Portuguese though, but if you want to watch it, I'll leave the link to it in the description so you can see what a mess it was. But yeah, that type of content is actually stuff that I also enjoy. So if you're interested in that possibility, leave your thoughts about it in the comments so I can have a better idea of what type of content you also want to see from me, besides animation, of course. I do believe that covers a lot of what went down while the production of the series was going on, and I hope you guys enjoyed this moment with me personally for the first time. And if you also want to see a bit more of me in the channel, let me know so we can work on that in the future and still make content that all of us will enjoy. And also, before ending the video, there's no way I could possibly leave without wishing everyone happy holidays, because Christmas is upon us and also the New Year. Even though we're facing dark times in the world, there's still ways we can find to make every day better, and I do hope I can bring that to you as well. In that note, this is Philip signing out, and I hope you all have a magical day. Bye bye!